Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Downtown Brantford Business Improvement Area Board of Management meeting, April 17th, 2025. Annette, have you done the roll call?
Yes, I have.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Dave, seconded by Sean. All in favor? Show of hands. Thank you. Okay, any declarations of conflict of interest? Okay, seeing none. All right, consent items. We roll right down to 5.1. The minutes of the March 20th BIA Board of Management meeting. May I have a motion to approve? Ashish, and seconded by Ed. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. And reports of the Marketing Activations Committee, Executive Director's Report, and the Executive Committee minutes from April 10th. We're rolling that all into one. Motion to receive. Ed, thank you. Seconded by Sean. All in favor? Thank you. Annette, do you have anything to add to your report this morning?
Just a couple things. I'll delete some because I don't want to talk too long. Um, Under correspondence, we received our second levy check. So normally on the second check, they do the clawbacks of any tax appeals and things like that. This year we budgeted $15,000 because in past years of huge amounts being clawed back, we wanted to make sure we were covered. And the clawback this year was only $836.74. So that leaves us a chunk of money that we could do something else with. So we'll see during the year what kind of projects come up. And then just a couple businesses soon to open, Cubano's restaurant at 31 Queen Street, and then Be Queen Beauty and Skincare and Dentist Barbershop is set to open at 33 King Street.
Okay, Sean, go ahead.
Annette said Cubanos was on Queen Street. It's next to
Oh,
me.
sorry, King Street.
Okay, yeah, that's all.
I'm sick, sorry.
Uh,
Okay. Good morning, Carrie. Sorry. All right. All right, so we'll go into anything else, Annette? Sorry. No. All right.
That's it for me, thanks.
Okay. Item 6.1, working group updates. Lizanna, do you have a quick update for parking?
Yes, I do. The gates where people on the events in Saturday and Sunday, it is not clear that it's free. You get a ticket, you think you have to pay. People are getting stuck in there and they can't get out, and then security wants $80 from them to get out, which is scary. I think I'm not sure what the answer would be. I'd like to ask the board for their input, that perhaps there could be a sign at everyone explaining that. That seems lengthy. The other thing is, could they put the gates up on the free dates when there's events or times or Saturday, Sunday? People recognize that as it's free. But when you take a ticket, you think you have to pay, especially when you get stuck in there and the gate won't open up. So that's an issue. I'd like the board and input on that, what maybe could be done. The meeting on the 12th, I have quite a bit to put there, so I won't do it today. And there's quite a bit for that. So I'd like to also invite anybody that would come to that meeting. I think it's important what I have to suggest and share. So I think that pretty well, again, with the safety of the parkade, that's another issue that we really need to have some answers. And I'd like this, maybe city tell us what they're planning to do for more safety and security for people that want to park there. So that's some of the issues. The well-known, they're used for drugs, they're used for sleeping, they're used for sex, toilets, you name it in there. So, what's the city planning to make it cleaner, safer? And I'd like to have that input as well from the city and from everybody in the board. So I think that's okay for today. Thank you.
Okay, Thanks, Annette. Go ahead, Lizanna, go ahead, Annette.
I just wanted to clarify one statement that Lizanna made about leaving the gates up during the Bulldog games. Apparently, it's only people attending the Bulldog games that are getting that free parking. So if you came downtown for dinner before the game, then went to the game, you're not included in that free parking. So leaving the gates up would give free parking to everybody, not just those attending the Bulldog games. That's my understanding of the rules.
Might be nice.
Okay. All right, we'll discuss that in the May meeting, Lizanna, and perhaps
Okay.
Lindsay can have a conversation after that. You have your hand up, Lindsay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Go ahead.
Barbara.
Yeah.
I just had a couple of updates that Councillor Samuel had asked me to bring forward from the parking committee meeting, so it would now be an appropriate time to share those.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And just on your comments, Susanna, I am gonna follow up on the parking. I think it also makes sense to have the arm up, so I'll inquire if that's a possibility. I'm also confused because I thought that it was free parking on Bulldogs game nights. I didn't realize there were any restrictions on that, so let me confirm. Um, Okay, so on to Counselor Samuel's updates. So she has requested, and we will be installing another P sign for parking at Echo in addition to the one at Bain.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of parking enforcement, she's met with Tom and Dave with the city. She's shared the concerns, and everyone was in agreement that there needs to be a common sense approach to parking enforcement in the downtown, as it's not designed for the current uses that are needed for doing business. And this is to be addressed. If further concerns arise, you can email Tom directly at parking@brantford.ca. I'll include these in the minutes that I pass over to Annette, so you'll have that contact information. Line painting will be occurring this summer for Market Street. Line painting doesn't start typically until after June 1st, but you will see that coming.
Okay.
In terms of pay and display parking, we're still in discussions, but she'll definitely keep the BIA looped into that. And also with respect to event parking for large city events. So she said she'll keep you posted on progress there.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Lindsay. All
Yes.
right. Any other questions on Lizanna's parking? Go ahead, Ed. Your microphone's off.
Hi. So I spoke with a few businesses in downtown, and it seems like from the ones I've spoken to, we sort of have a consensus that it would be very helpful for small businesses to have some kind of parking pass, whether it's limited to one per business or whether it's a discount pass or a pass in the expositor parking or the market parking. But I think that small businesses should have that benefit because at the moment, everyone's just finding loopholes or moving their cars or doing what they need to do and getting into fights with ticket police, etc. When it could be resolved a lot better in that case, and it would benefit the entire downtown and small businesses because we end up parking anyways. We'll end up parking on the other side or wherever we need to solve that and it's just not worth the fuss. So I just wanted to know if you guys agree or if you have any kind of other ideas as to how we can make that better for small businesses.
Oh, Sean, go ahead.
I agree with that, but I agree with the part that it needs to be in one of the lots downtown, because the parking, in like in the past, I've seen that used in other cities and all that, and people abuse it, and they will park right in front of their store, which should be left open for customers, for people visiting downtown. So yeah, staff should be in a lot somewhere. Like you said, either the expositor lot or even the parkade, but passes aren't going to happen for that. Or the Darling Street lot, something that. But I absolutely agree that staff working downtown shouldn't be subject to ticketing.
So all
Thank
good
you.
comments. But any other comments? We'll take that back to the parking committee and perhaps, and that will, oh, did you have a question, Ed? Or I keep calling you Ed. Dave.
Okay.
No, I just want to make a comment on that as well. I agree with that. We just recently had an incident with one of our business owners who had an altercation with the parking staff because they were parked in our lot with a tag that allows them to park there under our agreement. And this parking attendant was very forceful in wanting to give a ticket, where the owner of the business called me on my cell phone and said, he wants to give me a ticket and I got a tag in my windshield. And I'm like, according to our agreement, and if he reads our agreement, that's allowed, and you have a parking spot. So we have this isn't the first time this has happened, that I'm hearing from these business owners, and we have an agreement in our lot so that they can come in anytime and park and ticket anybody that's not with a tag. But if they have a tag, they're not ticketed. So why he chose to do that, I'm not sure, but I'm going to investigate a little bit further. But I agree. Like, if you're a business owner, you should be allowed to park in the downtown parking lots, and you should be at least given one pass. Like, I think we should approach the city on this and see if there's an option, because it would certainly encourage business owners to develop downtown instead of
Absolutely.
that.
And even in the middle of like shifts and stuff, having to go move a car, talk to somebody, takes up time while you're actually working and conducting business.
Okay, Annette, go ahead. Oh, sorry, that was
Just curious why people are moving cars in the middle of a shift. I don't understand that.
I mean, yeah, sorry, go Sean.
No, not a problem. You were going to answer that. I just, put me, it's all right.
Yeah, if we have to move a car, pick up something, or take out the trash at the dump site, or do anything in downtown. I've even had to, for example, I went from my shop to Lizanna's for Halloween to go pick up items, and one of the ticket officers had said that that was considered reparking in downtown when I was actually just picking up items from her place and bringing it to ours. So I don't think that's fair. So
all right, Sean.
I was just going to say it's the same thing. People are changing. You meant Dave?
Mhm.
No, I meant you because you had your hand up,
Yeah.
and now Lizanna has her hand up before Dave.
No, people are running out their 2 hours and then moving their cars. Of course they face a reparking there, but they shouldn't, because they're at work. So
Lizanna.
I'm not sure what the answer is either. However, Laurier students and the staff do park on the street. I'm wondering if we could speak with Laurier, and they have a parking lot as well. Maybe we could somehow do something. They also are part owners of the YMCA. Perhaps we could talk with Laurier to see if we could have something in the parking lot that would fix all of this. That, you could park there with my 3 hour free parking. Maybe Laurier should be involved because they do park on the street. They've told me personally. So perhaps we could speak with them and have something, maybe use some of their parking lot. They've got one as well. So I would like to suggest that we speak with them and the city, all of us, and try and come to some mutual teamwork.
yeah, there are like 3 or 4 lots where it would work. So,
Well,
Okay.
anywhere, any city lot then.
Any city lots.
Anyway.
So I think, and Lindsay has her hand up. And go ahead, Lindsay. I'll just preempt everything by just saying we're probably not going to solve it here this morning. So,
Yeah.
what are your suggestions, Lindsay?
So I was actually going to suggest that you bring this up at the DAC committee. I think that might be a good table for this discussion, just because there are going to be representatives from the Y, from Laurier, from Conestoga, and then obviously across the city in several departments. So it might be really productive. Obviously, maybe have some preamble conversations in the parking committee, but my advice would be to bring it up at that table.
Okay, can I
Just one comment. Could Lindsay come to our meeting, the parking meeting on May
Yes.
12th?
I would love that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
And anyone else that can help us, someone from Laurier. I'd like to invite anybody that can give us some answers, and let's try to make this work. So anybody that I'm inviting anybody to our meeting, and maybe then we could solve something there.
Okay. And Lindsay, do you know when the DAC meeting is? Because they sometimes forget to invite us.
I was told that. I don't think a date's been set yet, but when one is, I will make sure to double check that you're on the email.
Okay.
Um,
I think we need to bring this up earlier than
Yep,
perhaps a couple of months from now, if that's when they're meeting. So
yep.
I think I'll take Lizanna's suggestion and that we have that meeting in May.
Yes.
And if anyone from DAC wants to attend, they can. How's that? We'll reverse that role.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on. Marketing activations, Sean.
The last meeting, all we really we discussed, Ben gave us the update on the Find Ben activation for the hockey tickets, for the Bulldogs tickets. He also gave us an update on what's happening going forward with the Rubber Ducky event in Harmony Square. What else we talk about? The Rock, like the Gateway activation that we were looking at or planning for Gore Park, we're putting on hold for now so that we can see what the city's doing with Gateway, what it looks like, so that we can kind of match it up so it looks like it's part of the same thing and not so much a headstone as I was told. And and we talked about the ideas that came from Ed about more art and lighting and greenery and flowers throughout downtown, hanging stuff. And they're all great ideas, but we all came to the consensus that we need more lead time and more input from the city to move forward on that stuff. And plus, everything's complicated by the revitalization and the construction that's going to be happening. So I think that's about it.
Any questions for Sean? Go ahead, Ed.
Do we have any updates on the potential pilot project for putting plants in front of businesses? I know that since we can't exactly do or like any kind of wrappings or plant stuff without permission from the city, is there any way to do like a small scale version for each of the businesses?
Well, we had talked about that, but it came down to who's going to pay for it, who's going to take care of it, and that type of thing. But our next meeting for that is what, next week, the 30th. So we can put that on the agenda for next week and talk about that and kind of come up with a better plan, I suppose.
Is there a way to allocate a budget toward it, or when would that be a talk? Would that be at the meeting, or would
Yeah, we
that
can talk about it at the meeting, and then if we decided at one of the meetings that if it's a small amount, then we can just decide out of the beautification budget that we can do it. So let's cost it out and see what it and see how many businesses want to be involved and are willing to take care of it, because it would be on them, right? That's the pilot project, that it would be on the business. So we can talk about that next week for sure.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right. Membership, Sandra.
What we're working on right now is the stickers, and Annette is trying to source them. The objective of the stickers so it'll say the BIA and it'll be in their front, hopefully door or window. There's two objectives. There's one that people know that you're in the BIA, but the second one is to realize those people know they're in the BIA. So we're trying to get more I don't know, ownership, I guess you could say, and hopefully more participation. There is a vacancy on the board, and we are hoping to get somebody to represent I guess it would be the South. We're calling it here, what is it, the South Side? on the board so that we can kind of keep up on what they're doing, which would be great, and see what their needs are, if they're any different than the needs of the north side. So we're just getting, and that's just getting ready to send that out. And also a card that says what the BIA is responsible for and what we can do and what we can't do. That being said, I think Annette has fostered kind of call me and I'll figure out where your call goes. So, and I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's a burden on Annette, but that somebody can just have a one source to call. And, you know, again, we're trying to show why we're relevant. And I think even that in itself shows that the BIA is relevant and that they can we can't maybe do something, but Annette can supply contact to the person who can. So we're just waiting, like I said, for the stickers to come in, and then we'll run that by the board and try to get members to show that in the front of their building.
Okay. Any questions of Sandra? Go ahead, Mr. Yu.
So yeah, so we are very happy to hear that we are in the process of getting the sticker representing the BIA.
你说我自己的建议会不会除了贴纸以外，我们把所有downtown的，无论是中型的、小型的这个生意呢，都变成一个小的联盟，然后做一个卡片也是有 BIA 标志的，然后发给消费者。那么这个消费者拿到这个卡片进所有贴 CIA 标志的商家消费的时候，都会有很高的折让。那么这个折让，我们所有的商家也应该出一部分。
Okay, so other than a sticker, is it possible that to utilize this opportunity to form a sort of like an association or an alliance of the downtown small businesses? Like all the members of this association will get to put a sticker on in front of their business, and the customers who enter those business will get additional discounts, and those discount will, like, you know, the small business will sponsor part of the discount, and we will see if the city can chip in a little bit to support that to form this type of association or alliance utilizing this opportunity.
So realize that the BIA members are people who pay into the levy. We can't get more members, and the members can't really leave. So that's a determined amount that has been drawn up by the borders. So what you're talking about, this association would be, it's the BIA. So there's not as if there's people in this area that aren't in the BIA, and maybe except the casino and government buildings. But everybody is in basically this association.
I guess what we were saying is we utilize this because we are getting a sticker, right? So on top of this sticker, like whoever, I guess, the businesses who put their who put the stickers to the public, right? And then we just use this as an opportunity for customers when they walk in, they get some sort of discount from each of the business. That's what we're saying. I guess sponsor part, that's okay. You mentioned that we're not able to do that. That's okay. Then yeah, we're just saying that if this is an opportunity for us to make some sort of like alliance or association together, just or promotion in general.
We'll look into that and see, especially if it's something to encourage people to put their sticker up. So kind of what you're saying, maybe for discounts, but that would be all of downtown, but some way to encourage people to put their stickers up would be a good idea as well.
你跟他说，你说呢？我是希望客人，我们的消费者拿到贴了 BIA 标识的卡片进了我们的店以外，进了店以后，它会有一个特殊的折让，要高过所有的不带这个折让。比如说别人是打9折。那我们有这个卡的可能打5折、打6折。
So okay, what we're also wondering is if there is anything that we can provide to the customers. Let's say, for example, if the customers brings some sort of this card or sticker to the store, they will get special or additional promotion. Is this something that's doable?
也
Annette?
就是说，让客
Yeah.
人觉得拿到我们贴 BIA 这个标识的这个 card， 他会有一种忠诚度和一种 proud of 有一种自豪感。
So yeah, so I guess the goal is to build some sort of sense of belonging, for customers to put additional trust in business who have these stickers, who are part of this association.
Annette, did you have a comment?
I did. I think there's two things here. One, the sticker letting everybody know that you're in the BIA area, for businesses that you're a member of the BIA. I think there's an opportunity maybe through the marketing committee that we do some kind of scavenger hunt or something like that. So it's not a sticker in a door, we hide something in a store. So it's a one-off promotion versus everybody getting the sticker and offering something. I might not want to offer a discount, so I'm not going to put the sticker up, where we want everybody to put the sticker up. But I definitely think there's an opportunity for some kind of scavenger hunt or another promotion, and maybe that's something we discuss at the marketing committee.
Ed, did you have a comment?
I think what he was sort of referring to is like a loyalty program or coalition program. Similar to like when we had the vendor certificates. That's from what I'm understanding that you might have been mentioning. I think you guys had started that initially and somewhat abandoned it, or it might be just in the background and no one's collected those, the downtown cash program or whatever we had before. But I think we mentioned it at the marketing meeting, that was something that existed, just isn't really pushed full force. So I don't know if you want to return to that or make that better, but I think that kind of loyalty program would be good for downtown. And then businesses can optionally put stuff on it if they want to.
Okay, so Daniel and Mr. Yu, are you we're going to take that to the marketing committee.
Yeah, and we agree with basically some
Right.
sort of like loyalty program thing that everybody can do it together. So it will be
Right.
easier just more enthusiastic for the customers.
Okay, and if you have any other ideas or want to expand that a little bit, just send an email to Annette and to make sure that we're covering everything that you're asking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I just had a question, more of a clarification from Sandra. When you say we're looking for a member from South Side, does that mean like down like Freshco Plaza?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Good, thank you. All right, if we can, we'll move on to 6.2 is the Chamber of Commerce request for sponsorship. Annette, do you want to lead us through this, please?
Did you want to get a mover and seconder first to put
Oh,
it
I'm
on
so
the
sorry.
table,
Yes,
or
yes,
it's up to you?
I will. Okay, I just need a motion to put it on the table. Sean, go ahead, and Lizanna seconded, and all in favor? All
All
right.
in favor? Not
Yeah.
all in favor yet. It's only on the table.
You're right. You're right.
Sorry.
I'm out of practice.
I know, right? So the chamber has approached us. They filled in an application for sponsorship. This is a first-time event that they're proposing. They want to do a breakfast with Chief Jason Saunders. It'll be at the Best Western on June 9th. They're asking for $1,000, and the BIA will be the presenting sponsor. Part of this sponsorship, Dave has mentioned actually 4 free tickets for the board to attend, and he's opening it up to our membership. Normally, these events are only open to chamber members, but since we will be hopefully a presenting sponsor, they'll open it up to the membership as well. So the actual application is in your agenda package.
Okay. Any comments? Lizanna, was that
I just think that's a good idea.
And Sandra?
And I too think it's a great idea, even just for the fact that it opens it up to our members. I think that's definitely well, because I think being downtown property owners, and businesses, that people would maybe want a presence there. So that's really good.
Sean?
I agree with that too, and I think as a named sponsor, it gives us more visibility to the people who are going, because the people who will be going to this breakfast aren't just downtown, who already know who we are to an extent. It'll be like more citywide. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about membership and engagement, it gives people a chance to learn a bit more about the BIA.
I agree with that as well. All right, so if there aren't any more comments, can I call a vote on this motion? All in favor?
I'm motion, yeah.
Okay, any opposed? Didn't see any. All right, that's carried, Annette. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right. 6.3, draft 2024 financial statements as provided by Millards. And can I have a motion to put this on the table? Please. Ashish, thank you. Seconder? Lizanna, thank you. Okay, so this is, do you want to go ahead with that, Annette?
So I don't have a lot to say about them. These are the financials as provided by Millards. They had lots of questions. I answered the questions. I don't know if anybody else saw anything glaringly odd in them. I didn't.
Okay. And I didn't as well. Are there any comments on the financial statements? This is just a standard procedure every year. All right, go ahead, Lizanna.
I just trusted that they knew what they were doing, so they're the accountants, so hopefully it's fine.
Okay. All right, can I call the vote? All in favor? Thank you. Okay. Carried. Thank you very much. All right. Sergeant John Balone, you're up. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so for people that have been on the board for quite a long time, at one point I would pump out statistics on all these the types of crime that happen downtown. I haven't submitted those in a long time, and I haven't bothered the crime analyst to restart that. But if this is something that you guys want to see on a regular basis, I can arrange to have that brought back every month. Is there a consensus to that? Is that something that you guys all want to see, or is it something that you guys just would delete in your emails?
Oh, okay.
No.
Let's do a show of hands. Did we enjoy receiving the statistics? I think that they were all important.
Okay, so
Okay, so there is an interest there, John.
Okay, so noting the interest, then I'll actually get in contact with the crime analyst, just because it wasn't prompted to stop. She just stopped sending them and I stopped asking. I'd like to give my anecdotal type information, but I think the stats would pair nicely with what I'm saying. Okay, so moving on, particularly with my unit, you may now have seen the change in the vehicles that we have downtown. Now we actually use the Battenberg style that you might see in the UK, where they're brightly marked and visible with the blue and neon yellow. The idea is they're just very unlike some of the other police cruisers and the trends that have been going. I don't need to hide, like police that are engaging in speeding tickets or that type of enforcement. I want to be seen at all times, and I want the public and offenders essentially to know that we're present. So the chief has opted for high visibility markings on vehicles that are designated here in the downtown. So you will get to see more of those, and I'm going to be trying to implement them with different strategies downtown. And I'm going to flip to one maybe a little bit later on in my bit here. So I had talked last meeting about pace setting. I've arranged for bicycle training to be the end of May. So at the end of May or beginning of June, you're going to see us well, normally I have three teams. Each team has four people, and then those teams flip back and forth between days and afternoons. So, which means that at any time now, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have two people walking around the downtown on foot, and then two are going to be mounted on bicycles for like a quick response team. So we're going to see how that kind of plays out. But again, you'll see that starting in January, or not January, June 1st. Uh, Flipping ahead, because Lizanna had mentioned the parking garage, what I was going to say is that the severity of the types of problems that we are actually seeing inside the garage are the same, right? I just and so, but the frequency has gone down. My units are not attending there as much. I can say that the city is more active. So the security guards are actually arresting trespassers in there and then turning those people over to my team. I know they're utilizing the cameras that are in the stairwells, and there's somebody watching those cameras at all times now. So that way they can send those security officers to the stairwells and then move along the unwanted behavior. So that way it doesn't turn into a half day or an overnight sort of thing. So it should be immediately addressed. My team is walking through the garage. Sure, we find incidental problems here and there, but in large part, there has been, again, a decrease in that frequency. So noting that, I want to turn my attention, or I am turning my attention to what I think is a bigger problem because in front of 53 Delucy, because of the warmer weather, we're now regularly seeing large crowds gathering on the Queen Street side, and sometimes it works its way around to the Delucy Street side. It's not a good look for us in the core. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try a strategy that I have not done before. I'm going to be parking one of these newly marked cruisers right on the corner, right where they actually sit. So that way we're fully visible to anybody. This has got to be one of the most busiest intersections that we actually have in the downtown. So each of my three teams work 10-hour shifts. Again, that's each team works 4 days in a row, 10 hours. And so every team is being told at this time is that you will spend 2 hours sitting in front of this Tim Hortons. And so the idea is to push them away from this area or to, well, what kind of things do we do again? If they take their drugs out to engage in open air drug use, or a person that's wanted, right, walks literally right in front of our car, and I can say that happens very, very frequently in the area. They'll just get arrested. There's going to be a quicker response so that people will see that police are sitting right there. People will see that police are engaging at that intersection immediately. So I'm this is a test, right? I don't have any data yet on how this might play out. I fully expect that because I do not have the solution to these problems, I will be displacing some of the issues. So these issues might be pushed back towards the parking garage. It may be pushed inside 40 Queen Street that we also help manage. But the thing is, any feedback or data that you guys might be able to provide to me once we actually start this initiative will be of benefit to me. So to go back to the high visibility vehicles, I think that what I'm going to try to do as I get this data is to start by parking those cars and with two of my members in that vehicle to engage those problems. I think I'm going to try that for about a period of 2 weeks. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to draw the vehicle back maybe half a block so that we are close, so that the offenders or the regular offenders can see that we are there, right? But not just necessarily on top of them to see if the behavior changes again. And then I'm going to see that if um, we have still control over the volume of problems that are happening at that intersection. Um, I'm going to see then if I can pull my people out of the vehicle so that if they see the vehicle, they're somewhat trained. I'm trying to essentially train the people that are engaging in these unwanted behaviors so that if I park the vehicle somewhere, and even if I don't occupy it, they won't want to be around it. So again, going back to the feedback, that's the initial plan. It's just that I'm going to be waiting for data on how to, well, to adapt to their behaviors because that's essentially what I'm going to be doing all the time. Let's see. So that covers 53 Delucy. I've talked about the garage. A member had approached us about an illicit cannabis shop back in February. We actually executed a warrant there on the 10th of this month. If you may have seen the media release, we seized $130,000 worth of illicit cannabis. Now, again, I'm just going to state for the record that I have no problem with anybody who enjoys smoking cannabis. But the thing is, when it comes to the illegal kind, that's the one I have a problem with. These people did not have a license. Uh, and so after we did that initial shutdown, they closed their doors for about a day. Then they went back to Dollarama, got new jars, got new everything, and then re-upped the store. And then I had only heard about it Tuesday evening that they had flicked on a new open sign because we had actually taken their old open sign. They bought a new one, flicked it on, and then so yesterday morning we walked back in and we took $47,000 worth of additional cannabis. We actually worked with the property owner because property owners in cases like this can also be penalized and charged if they have knowledge that an illicit cannabis shop is operating on their property. But the thing is, this property owner was very cooperative. And so, under the Residential or Commercial Tenancies Act, they were able to go in right after we were done and they locked the door. The guys that were engaged in this activity also, they're pretty much on conditions now not to return to the city of Brantford. So, this is the end of this particular cannabis shop. I fully expect, again, within the next year or so, it seems like I'm tackling one or two a year. Although, again, mushroom shops seem to be a thing now in Brantford, and those will be our next targets. I think that's all the information I had to pass on to you guys this month. I'm just wondering if you guys might have any questions that I might be able to answer.
Lizanna has a question. Go ahead, Lizanna.
Okay. I really like what you just said. Now I have four different things here. So after watching the cars visible for 2 hours, maybe different times so they don't get used to you being there at a certain time and not others. The
Yeah,
other
there won't be a schedule. There won't be
Okay.
a schedule. It'll just be set based on our availability. Because to be honest, we're still a reactive unit. I don't have the freedom of being totally proactive and doing whatever I want because I still have to address calls from the public. But when we have those openings, there will be officers there.
Okay. The other thing I like the visible bikes and cars. Now with the parkade, I also, if you walk through periodically, I think it's very important that they know that you're coming. And same if the city's doing more, I really think that's great. The other thing that is it still where the constables are in the daytime till 11:30 and nobody there from 11:30 to 7 a.m.?
Okay, so I'm going to say on, let's see, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, the shift coverage, well, actually, we'll just do during the weekdays. Monday, I only have one team working. I'll tell you the entire schedule here. Is from 7:30 to 5:30. Tuesdays, because we have a youth program at the Y that we run for 2 hours, we work from 8:30 to 6:30. Then back on Wednesday, it's again 7:30 start, but then we work to 11 o'clock. All right, because that Wednesdays is the day that our afternoon shift starts. And then Thursdays, we have a different youth program. This is Youth Fusion, where we actually deal with newcomer youth to Canada. And that runs from 8:30 to 6:30, but also they'll have that extension because the afternoon guys are on. So they'll be working from essentially 8:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, we go back to the 7:30 start and then work to 11 again. And then on Saturday, I only have one team working day shift, and they work from 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening.
Okay, John, night is when the break-ins happen downtown, and many times it's happened. So is there a chance at all that in the future there can be some of the constables that go through at night, even if it's not every night, just so that they know that they can't just keep breaking in? Like, is there a chance that they can be visible from 11 to 7:30 a.m. just to have a knowledge that they might be running into police if they break in those hours. There's nobody watching that right now. Is
Okay,
there a
so
chance of that?
if I can address that, you know that my units is an enhancement.
I know.
This is not
Appreciate it.
the normal for the remainder of the city. So I'm down here and trying to deliver our very best for you. But then going back to, well, I have control over my unit. So I get to decide how my units are deployed and the frequency, the hours. Uh, it's basically, I've been trusted to make sure that you guys get what you need. Now, if I'm not in a position to tell the normal patrol officers how to run their shifts. I can advocate, and then next Wednesday I can bring that up as a concern. We have what we call an NCOs meeting where all the staff sergeants and sergeants meet, and we discuss ongoing issues, kind of like what we're doing here at the BIA meetings.
Mhm.
And so I can advocate for more of a presence downtown because if I could, I wouldn't say this is one of the highest crime areas, but what we have is high levels of disorder and low-level crime, stealing, damage, and graffiti. So let me see. So the hours, because that's another thing that you had brought up. I am definitely going to be altering my hours of operation. The reason being, later today, I actually have a meeting with some of the head people with the AGCO. They're going to be coming down to my office, and uh, they want us to spend a little bit more time providing them with information, so that way they can provide a little bit more of a pointed response to go and take care of licensed establishments, and in turn um, have us help them with enforcement. So. Um, when do these problems happen at the bars? And really, we don't have the biggest bar district. I can think of only three places that are, well, in the entire city, I think there might be about 5 or 6 areas that regularly pop up on my radar, and 3 of them here are downtown. So that would mean, because problems start generally around midnight to closing at 3 o'clock in the morning, I may try to create a bigger spread, but that's going to require some thought. The idea currently behind the current deployment strategy is that I have the most members during the daytime hours when people are downtown here at your businesses. Right? That's why just the visibility bit was important, because I know that as soon as we engage a problem, that could potentially take us off the road for 2 hours. And so that's why we have overlapping teams and multiple units down here during those daytimes. So that way the students, when they're most active, and the people, when they're driving through the downtown, get to see us and walking around. Because otherwise, then if we're just walking around, we might be there for 5 seconds and then we're a block or two away somewhere else, and then we disappear. So I wasn't writing down all your questions. I think I hit at least 3 points there. Was there another one that I had missed?
Um, no, some of them were comments. I like the visible cars and bikes. The walk through the parkade is also good. The other one was the Tim Horton one, different times, and the big one was the night, because that's when the break-ins occurs. We've had 3 break-ins, and so basically that's just me. And I know there's been others. So even if it's not a constant, like just so they know that they never know when they're going to bump into a constable. Or if the regular ones do that and you're going to that meeting, I really think it's wonderful if you do bring that up, that maybe they could be present a bit more, even just a drive-through, so that the break-in people, they plan it, because I know that ours were quite planned, and we do have an alarm system, sorta, and so we've done that, but that's already breaking in. So if they had something, they might be afraid to try to plan a break-in at 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Maybe if they know that policemen regardless whether it's constables or the regular policemen, that they know they might be caught. So maybe they might not plan it as much. I don't know. But I appreciate if you'd bring that up to them as well.
Yeah. So,
That's great. And I know
well,
you're doing a great job. I'm really, you know that I think that you're really doing a good job, your constables, and you, from the way they come in and their presence is there. So I like it. It's
yeah,
great.
I appreciate that. My role is here to come down and solve problems. So I don't mind solving um, and getting these updates because even earlier this week, just so you know, we do actually work together. The bylaw department, the security at Conestoga, security or special constables at Laurier, we meet once a month and we have meetings to discuss uh, current issues. And this is kind of how the Tim Hortons issues had come about because sure. The Tim Hortons in particular, it's not a good look, right? And so people from within City Hall don't want to come down there and spend their money at a location if they're going to be asked for money or have to step over somebody to get inside,
Yeah,
let
exactly.
alone blocking sidewalks, which is a bylaw issue, right? Because you can't obstruct a sidewalk, or at least completely. Right? You can sit on a sidewalk, you just can't obstruct it completely. So bylaw can take care of some of those things. There's issues with garbage because somehow a lot of the homeless people are getting bags full of donuts, ripping them open, and then just spreading them in the alleyway behind there. And then if there is my team again, we're almost being used like bouncers because it functions like a homeless shelter during the daytime hours. And then so because they actually have a 30-minute limit on loitering, then when a security guard is told to screw off, when we get called, and then we are the ones removing them. To take it one step further, if the minimum wage workers in there, just the stuff that they have to put up with. And when they know that this one or two people come in there and they use the washrooms and make a complete mess in there and make the washroom unusable, when they refuse, then what happens is that there is a fire exit at the back behind the washrooms. And then those people go and they defecate on the floor in those enclosed washrooms. And that's part of the Laurier residence, right? It's just up for the expositor building. So it's not just what's happening on the street, it's also mismanagement of what's actually happening inside. And so collaboratively, I know, just like we do here at these meetings, I know I can establish more by communicating with partners and then working at it together. So, yeah,
Will
I forgot.
will you explain
Excuse
to
me,
me?
Liz Anna, I'm sorry. Did you ask your 4 questions?
I don't know, but I just was answering his.
Oh, okay. I have 2 other speakers.
Okay. It's just
So
that
so
we've
go ahead
stopped in
quickly, and then
between.
I have Ed and Annette.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ed.
Okay. I just want you to explain the loitering. How long is it before you call it loitering?
Okay, so the city actually has a loitering bylaw, but it hasn't been tested in court. And the thing is, I can't necessarily say that somebody's loitering on the street. It's just something that I know that I would have an issue fighting when it comes to the charter. Um, Especially considering some of the recent decisions in Superior Court over some of the stuff like Safe Streets Act, where it is a constitutional right to be able to walk beside somebody and ask them for money, even at an ATM to do the same thing. It's just sometimes in courts we lose these decisions. So I know that I will lose that one in loitering, so we don't test it that much. Inside, though, on private property, that's up to the business owner.
Thank you.
All right. Ed, go ahead.
Thanks. So it was just an observation. I think since the bridge reconstruction, I have noticed an increase in homeless people and drug activity on Cobourg and just the general downtown core. I don't know if you guys have also noticed that as well, but there has been an increased presence, and it's not quite pleasant to see. I thought that there would be maybe it's just for the time being, like just amid them being displaced or for the or what, but I just wanted to know how that's being addressed.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a seasonal thing, Ed, because when the cold well, the cold brings people inside, but once the weather becomes tolerable, they take all their disorder outside. And then when it comes to some of the shelters here, we already know that during the evenings, they set up beds like the Salvation Army and Rosewood House. They'll take you in at nighttime, but the thing is, you have to go out into the community during the day. The city has actually tried to address that by having a place like 40 Queen Street where they're actually given rooms and units that they can actually reside within. And so then they take their, their disorder does not spill onto the street because then they can stay in there all the day. And then I think the city also has started an initiative at the end of West Street and Charing Cross where they've taken over Foxwood Estates. And I think that I don't want to speak a lot to this because this is not something that I'm deeply involved in, but I think by May 2026, there's going to be 100 or more units in air, and they're going to be providing services to those people so that way, if they're motivated to get themselves off the street, then that's a great way to start. So we will be involved at some point in that project, but that's a little bit further ahead. But this again goes back to what I was saying about the pace setting, right? And I have to essentially train people that their unwanted behaviors are not belonging on the street. But as for the trend and then coming back outside during the warmer weather, that's not something that I can really impact. I can provide them consequences so that they do not do it in visible areas where they can get caught by me and my team.
Do you by any chance know when the bridge will be done? Not that it matters for the people who are gonna, I guess, go back and hang out there, but is that like, is there a timeline on that bridge reconstruction?
You're testing me on things again that are
Sorry.
not my expertise,
Oh,
but
maybe
I'm pretty
Lindsay
sure
could
that
possibly answer. I don't know.
yeah, I think that underneath the bridge on the lookout, that's already been fenced up, and I think that fencing has been slowly broken away, and they're actually walking pieces of that fencing over to the scrapyard over on Gray Street. So that again is a work in progress. You can probably see over at the bridge, they've clear cut a whole bunch of trees down in that area. I think that's because the city is bringing in a huge crane, one I think the biggest one in North America. I think it might be a media thing that might come out shortly to do repairs to the walking bridge. But everything is still up in the air. Like I said, it's not necessarily my expertise, but that's all I can provide at this point.
Thank you.
John, I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt just for a second. Mr. Yu has to go, but he has two questions. Annette, do you mind if Mr. Yu goes ahead? Okay. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
你说很对不起大家，我打断大家。那我有3个小问题提给会议，但是我没有时间参加讨论。我希望我提完以后，我们必须得走了，这对不起。
So apologize ahead of time. So we really have to leave soon. So, but we have just a couple questions to discuss.
第一个问题呢，刚才这个他叫什么呢？
Annette.
刚才接着 Annette 的话题说呢，上一周的这个寻宝活动呢，这个 BIA 搞得很好。我们从我们自己的 business 看呢，效果非常好。那么我的建议呢是，这样的活动是不是会经常来做？要所有的商家参与。比如说，可能我们6月份会有一个音乐会，这个音乐会怎么样把类似于寻宝的活动，整个downtown一条街的生意和 Brandful 的大型活动连起来，我觉得是我们这个协会应该讨论的一个重要问题。
So last week there was a scavenger hunt, just following what Annette just mentioned earlier. So last week there was actually a scavenger hunt event in downtown. I think that was hosted by another organization. So it was a very good success. It turns out to be a very good success. So we were hoping to, if we can, we can work on that. And for example, we know that in the coming June there will be music festivals. If there's anything we can do, if there's anything similar we can do on the scavenger hunt activities, just for downtown business to do it together. That's number one.
那么其实我一直想，整个downtown所有商家的合作，其实是振兴downtown最重要的一个办法。
So we always think that if all the businesses in downtown can work together, it's probably one of the most important things that we can do for the downtown revitalization.
我希望 BIA 这个我们的协会呢，会越来越多的把大家团结在一起，我们共同来，所有的商家都要做出自己的努力来振兴这个downtown。
I hope BIA can come up with more proposals to unite all the downtown business together, that we can do some activities together to create more activities in downtown area.
那第二个问题呢，就是说，刚刚听了这个 police officer 讲的很好，我们downtown的治安呢已经有了很大的进步。
And then thank you, John, for for the update about the downtown. We really think that there has been a lot of great improvement in downtown security.
但是我自己的想法呢，就是说，我们任何的改善最后都应该转成downtown business 的进步。那么警察的努力有了好的治安，我建议呢，我们是不是我们全部的downtown应该跟2个大学来合作，我们制造一个他们开学季的一个鼓励学生走进downtown的一个活动，然后我们的全部的商家都应该拿出诚意来做好的促销，来把这个downtown和大学生的关系搞好。
And we obviously the police the officers effort is very, very important, and we're hoping if there's anything that additionally we can do together. For example, the downtown business working together with the 2 universities along with the police officers, just to provide additional security for the students, and if there's any activities we can do together. To make sure that the students can feel safely walking down the street, be more involved with Brantford downtown business.
那么刚刚我们这个 officer 也讲，我们会有警察去骑自行车来巡逻downtown，其实一个很好的做法，也一定会对downtown的安全有很大的作用。但是这个做法，我觉得我们协会应该让2个大学知道，说我们downtown的商业活动会使他们的学生安全，不会有问题。
And we really like the idea of that. There will be officers on the bikes, to help downtown security. And we think we should let the universities know that the improvement that the police officers are making as well for downtown security.
那最后一个问题还是讲到刚才这个 police officer 讲的故事，就是说其实警察和这个小偷的故事是全世界都有，而且是几千年下来一直流传下来，它也不会停止。
And yeah, so just what John just mentioned about what the police are doing around police officers and I guess the criminals is an ongoing crisis nowadays around the world.
但是呢，我自己认为呢，除了白天增加警力以外，其实刚刚警察说呢，他会提供给我们一个犯罪的类型。其实我更想知道的是所有犯罪重点的时间段，如果这个也能提供，警察可以做出来，能把它整理出来。那么夜间的巡逻也未必是 overnight 整个晚上去巡逻，我们可以在重点的时间段去打击这个犯罪。
And John, you mentioned that you will kindly provide us the stats for the types of criminals that's happening in downtown. In the meantime, if you can provide us maybe when those criminals happen, right? So by providing the time that those criminal happens may also support downtown business to help find out when you need to allocate your people to the specific place, right? And also it helps downtown businesses to know when that we need to be more careful, because that's the potentially crime may happen during that time period. So if we can get that as well.
那么时间的问题我就不参加讨论。那么从今年的业绩看，我们的生意期比去年好的很多。我相信这一定是今天在座的所有的领导的努力的结果。那么非常感谢大家，希望我们一起努力把今年的商业做得更好。
Yeah, so sorry. So that's all of our questions, and sorry, we do really have to go, but we just want to give you guys an update about us. So we recently did our quick review of our annual sales. Well, actually, our annual sales increased compared to the same time last year. So we do want to thank the BIA's support, and we also the officer support. I know that we cannot do it just by ourselves. We really see the improvements of downtown Brantford. So we want to say thank you very much to everybody in this call.
OK，
Thank you very much.
Okay,
拜拜。
thank you, thank you. All right, and Annette, go ahead.
So my comment was going to be around the stats. And I think one of the benefits of those stats is seeing if there's an increase in B&Es, that's something that needs to be targeted. Not saying there isn't B&Es and things like that, but sometimes there's a reality and perception thing. I'll see comments about, oh, all the cars stolen in the city of Brantford take place downtown, but the stats say, you know what, there was 10 cars stolen, 0 in the downtown. So I think that's just another benefit of those stats, is seeing what's actually happening versus what we're hearing is happening.
Okay, yeah, that can definitely be arranged. And I'll try to put that additional spin or talk to the crime analyst to see if we can also get the times of the occurrences as well. If there's some type of chart to see where there is a high volume of calls as opposed to nothing at all.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for John? All right, seeing none, well, thank you, John, so much.
You're
We
welcome.
really appreciate everything that you do downtown. We appreciate all your people, and we know you're doing your best, and you have a big challenge out there. Thank you. All right, Lindsay.
Great, thanks, Barbara. All right, a few updates I wanted to share that are kind of downtown adjacent to my project, but things I think this group would be interested in. So, first one is just a plug for the Lorne Bridge Rehabilitation PIC, which is being held today. I will pass this along with my notes to Annette if you want to distribute it again, but just because it's tonight, I'll let you know. It's 4 to 7 at Lions Park. This is about the rehabilitation that's going to be happening next year, so 2026 at the Lorne Bridge. If you have any questions, there will be staff on site to answer any of your questions, hear your concerns, and receive feedback. So highly encourage you to go if that's of interest to you. With respect to Brant's Crossing, I'm not sure if everybody saw in the chat, that is expected to be complete by fall of 2025. Something exciting that I'm happy to share with this group, and you may have seen, I know that Annette had received the one pager to circulate, but just in case you're behind in your emails, we all get there. So I'll verbally share with you that we have launched a downtown cleanliness pilot project. This started on Monday, just this past Monday, April 14th, and it will run for approximately 5 months, so April to September. And the project is really aimed at enhanced cleaning in the downtown. So I know that this is a huge topic of concern and something that we are continuously trying to improve upon. With respect to this project, we are looking at adding 2 full-time dedicated staff to our regular contingent of staff in the downtown, dedicated to downtown cleanliness. So these staff are going to be monitoring those businesses and residence properties that are disposing of waste outside of the designated collection times or set out times, and removing any additional garbage in the downtown. So they'll be going overnight. I think they're going to start at 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. As their initial window to kind of go out and monitor. They're also going to be checking all of the 90 garbage receptacles in the downtown to see if they need to be relocated based on usage. Regular collection is as usual, so Monday to Saturday, 7 to 8:30. And city staff who are going to continue to educate owners and tenants through verbal communication of any municipal code violations. They'll have door knockers with the keep it clean downtown Brantford notices, email and telephone. And I will just share with you verbally as well that this handling and tactics that we're going to use are going to escalate. I think that we can all expect that. We're just sort of ramping up and getting there slowly, but wanting everyone to have more than enough time to learn about the process, and that they need to comply with it. Any questions about the cleanliness pilot project? Yes.
Go ahead, Anne.
Are there any plans? I mentioned it in a prior meeting, and I think that you may have mentioned that the city is responsible for cigarette butt, like ashtray bins or whatever they're called. Are there plans to be, for any more of those to be put in, especially on the side of like King and Cobourn? Because there's none on our end, and there's a few towards like Market Street in the center, but there's tons of cigarettes all over the ground.
I don't know of any imminent plans, but I will make a note here right now to talk with our solid waste staff to see if there are plans. Something else that was also mentioned to me just on this topic in the last week was making those butt containers more visible. I think a lot of people don't see them. I'm sure there are people who see them and don't use them, but I think the more we can increase the visibility, the better. So you're suggesting on Colburn and King?
King and Coburn, yeah, that corner is just covered and it's almost littered with more of cigarette butts than like plastics. It's really sad to see.
Yeah.
Um, and even on like Queen Street and stuff like that as well. So it's all just on that end. There's actually
Yeah.
nowhere to contain them. And I'm surprised that there's a few on the other side, but not on our side.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm making a note here. I know that they just did the butt blitz and they did collect a lot of them. And one thing I will say, it's always the worst time of year for that stuff to become visible after we have the snow melt. It just looks like a mess. So definitely recognize and acknowledge that there should be some located there, but also noting that it's probably the worst time of year for that to be visible. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions on the cleanliness pilot? Okay.
Sean, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh,
Oh,
you're on mute.
your mic's off, Sean.
I never turn it off, and I just did. So, like, just piggyback on what Ed was saying there is that the butt buckets that are on the poles are great, but half the reason that they end up on the ground is because they're never emptied. Like the ones right there. So if I don't, again, I've brought this up before, and I don't know if that's the city or, well, it's obviously the city, but I don't know what department is or what I'm saying. You know, just empty those things. I am a
Yeah.
smoker. I use them constantly. So, but I make sure that I do use the bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, let me find out who does it because I know that we do have a contractor for certain services. I don't know if that's one of them, but let me ask and see if we can't because as far as I understood, they were meant to be emptied with the receptacles, which I think is twice a week. So let me just check.
I think the one out in front of Hudson Public
Yeah,
has been emptied twice since it's been there.
shouldn't shake my head. Is my face doing that out loud? All right, noted. I will bring that up.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So in terms of the big downtown reconstruction project, not a lot to share beyond what I provided as an update in the last meeting. We are almost at our 100% detailed design for contract one, ICOM Drive and Brant Ave. We are looking to have that submitted late this month and or early May, at which point we will do an issue for tender. Hopefully we have a successful bidding process and get a contractor on board so that we can start the earlier the better. We obviously have a substantial amount of work that we want to get done in this first year to reduce carryover to next year. But at this point we are looking at late June, potentially even early July, depending on how smoothly that process goes for start. Detailed design for contract two is almost at 50% completion. You might recall that at that point with that submission, I'll be able to share with you the full construction phasing diagram. So which areas at the downtown are going to go into construction in which year. So you'll see the sequence of that and the order that work will happen. So I will share that with you as soon as it's available. Some also more exciting things that will come to the forefront for discussion will be the streetscaping and the design. So I'm really looking forward to engaging with the BIA and consulting with you on what that should look like and how we want our downtown to look and feel. Up to now, it's been a lot of underground guts that is just like, but more exciting things are happening and coming. So you can look forward to hearing some of that and making sure that we get your feedback is essential. So that's kind of where things are at with the downtown construction. Does anyone have questions about that?
Apparently not. You're doing such a good job.
Thank you. You guys have been wonderful.
Thank you, Lindsay. We really appreciate your updates as well. Okay, so we're down to external committees, economic development, and tourism. Annette, you haven't had a chance to do that. And that's April 20th. Okay. Heritage Committee, Dave, you anything on that?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Heritage Committee hasn't met since January, so joining that committee has been non-eventful. But we do have a joint heritage meeting, I believe, between the county and the city in St. George at the end of the month. So I have put my name in to attend that event. So hopefully I'll have something to report at our next meeting.
Excellent, thank you. And Chamber of Commerce, anything in that on that? No. And Downtown Action Committee, they're meeting this month.
Actually, they met March 20th.
Oh, March 20th.
Most of the updates we've heard here about the Battenberg vehicles. I can actually share these minutes if it makes sense. One thing that happened after the meeting is Councillor Samwell has asked to join the committee. When this committee was originally set up, no city councillors or anybody were on the committee, and they did a poll and they agreed to allow one councillor to sit on the committee. But I can share these minutes if people are interested.
That would be great. Thank you. Okay, good. All right. So any other comments before we adjourn? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Sandra, seconded by Ed. All in favor? Good. Thank you, everyone. Great meeting. Have a good day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Barb.
Thanks,
Thank you, Annette.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.